daughter Cirilla. She's returned, and she's in danger. The wild hunt pursues her. You will find her and bring her to me.
That nightmare.
Didn't end well, did it? Your dream?
No. The wild hunt appeared, attacked Ciri. I couldn't move, stood there like a stump.
Said some beasts from the woods attacked her before she could reach the village.
Do you believe I drag you here in the middle of a war to discuss a rumor?
I think anyone can be wrong, even an emperor.
This game has become my my nemesis. In all of my, I guess, years of doing some reviews on YouTube, and I guess with the start of this whole Ethos series, which is a more personalized gaming experience, I have never played a game that I have not beaten before I've done the review. And that kind of changes with Witcher 3. And I wanted to point that out in case I don't know if people care about this or not, because some people feel that, you know, you need to play the whole game before you review. Some people say it depends on how many hours. I'll tell you right now, guys, I've clocked in over 75, I'm on the 80th hour, technically, yeah. I'm on the 80th hour of playing Witcher 3, and I'm not even done. Because what had happened was, for a good, I'd say 2 weeks, I ran into a game-breaking bug where I couldn't progress in a main story quest. So because of that, I spent the last 2 weeks running around doing a shit ton of side quests. Let's talk about Witcher 3 and my thoughts on the game. A lot of people have been asking about it. The reason why this video has taken so long is, first of all, I've been procrastinating like hell recently, just mostly due to my job. It's been very demanding, thus I haven't been able to do a lot of these more in-depth videos. And number two, I went to E3 literally, I think it was like a week or two after Witcher had came out. So like that just drained me of all my energy, and I really I couldn't get back into Witcher. I've recently been able to get back into it like heavy, but after E3 I was just so drained. I couldn't play The Witcher 3 for more than an hour because I just couldn't get into that immersive zone. But I've been able to, so I'll hopefully be able to finish playing it probably by next week. So that'll be fun. Here's my experience with The Witcher 3. I think you guys know what I'm going to say, so I'm just going to make this quick and to the point. Alright, first of all, the world for this game is absolutely phenomenal. Big shout out to CD Projekt Red. They have made truly a organic, living world with dynamic events, which, you know, I'm a sucker for dynamic events in games. Witcher 3 has tons of them. There's just so many quests, bruh. Like, you don't even have to go on the main storyline. It's like Skyrim, bruh. You can just go off wherever and just run into side quests that you can do. I think I've played about 60 to 70% of the main story quests. Amazing story, amazing dialogue, amazing writing. It is a very mature, deep game, and I mean that from the idea that you have to pay attention while playing this game. If you aren't in the zone, if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the story, you will get lost fast. And that's because The Witcher's universe and Witcher 3 being the third of the series, it's just so in depth when it comes to the dialogue, when it comes to the plot, the themes, and so forth. You have to pay attention, because the people who will try to downplay Witcher 3 or act like it's a boring game or it's not worth all the hype or its praise were not mentally prepared for the depth that this game has. And I'm not talking from a gameplay level, because we always talk about depth when it comes to gameplay, but I mean from a story writing perspective. This game goes levels, bro. Like, there's so many levels to this shit. It's unbelievable. One of the biggest things I love about this, since I'm a fan of Mass Effect, is choices in video games, and, you know, the ability to change the story or so forth based off of your choices. And choice does in fact matter in this game. From the side quests to even the main quest, choices you make in this game do in fact make an impact in your storytelling and also in the game world. For a good example of this, I made a video a while back talking about the lesser of two evils in The Witcher 3. I'll put a link in the video. I highly recommend, if you want to see an example of that, I made a sweet video talking about that if you want more information about how in-depth the choices really are, and also how the choices aren't just locked down to one area or one quest, but that these choices interchange and can actually affect other quests. Like, for example, in my video I talked about how a side quest actually influenced and changed the results of a bigger quest. There's also cool Witcher contracts where basically it makes you feel like Batman in a way, where you have to go around and investigate to figure out what's going on, what's the monster you're hunting, what's its weakness, what's its strength, how the person was killed or so forth, or if you could find the person who was lost. Usually the contracts stem off of somebody died or somebody went missing and they want you to investigate. You figure out it's some sort of demon or witch or something like that, or monster, and you pretty much have to prepare a trap, prepare when they're going to strike, and attack them and kill them. And this adds this sort of detective feeling as you investigate blood trails and you're following trails trying to find the monster, to preparing using meditation to prepare the right amount of potions that add a huge amount of depth and tactical combat to the game, where it's not just you can just rush into a lot of combat situations, because ultimately you'll end up dead. A lot of the time it's going to require, especially when you're fighting bosses or even monster quests with these Witcher contracts, that you have to actually sit there, you have to meditate, to drink the potions necessary to beat that monster, to give you that little advantage, to balance the amount of poison you're taking in. It's just truly amazing how much depth the developers put into this game. And I'm going to keep saying depth over and over again, because this game has so many levels to it, and it's important that you guys understand that before you're going into it, because if you're trying to find a game that's going to be some lighthearted experience or just a game that's going to hold you over, this is not the game for you. This is a game if you want to truly have a taste of close to near perfection of game design and game development and just a damn good studio with good business practices. It's The Witcher 3. There's huge character customization and management, from tons of skill trees with different attributes focusing on alchemy, spells, combat, regeneration, mutation. There's just so much stuff in this game. And also leading into that, just the variety of swords that you can use with their own special effects, and the way you can mod them with runes and sigils. It's just, there's just so much that I'm not even doing the game justice by just saying just this little bit of customization that is in the game. Gwent is glorious. It is genius. It is one of the best card games I've played since probably Yu-Gi-Oh! This game is addicting. You will spend probably a good 10 hours just playing Gwent in this game if you like card games. It's addicting, it's fun, and it's competitive. You guys are standing on literally a gold mine. Gwent, if you could make that a standalone game, I would throw money at it just to play it, because it is truly that addicting. So if you have Witcher, or if you're planning on getting Witcher, I highly recommend that you actually give Gwent a chance, because it is surprisingly a fun mini game. The combat is challenging and it's also enjoyable. It feels amazing with the decapitations, while at the same time it requires strategy and thinking, and people who like to rush in and just start swinging their sword will end up ultimately dying due to the NPCs parrying or shoving off your attacks. Now, I do know some people did complain about the combat and said that they felt that it was clunky. I didn't feel that. Believe it or not, I was also using a keyboard and mouse, and I felt it was perfectly fine. In my personal opinion, it was definitely better than Witcher 2, but I will not lie, there were sections in Witcher 3's combat, however, you're trying to roll or avoid damage, and ultimately hordes of enemies rush you and all melee you really fast, and you can feel like you've been cheated out of a life due to the fact that you died in a matter of seconds. But again, that goes into the idea that you should play this game tactically, and you should wait and isolate enemies instead of rushing in and attacking them all at once. The soundtrack is amazing, and I really enjoyed it. The amazing thing about the soundtrack is that it feels like it's intertwined with the world. Like, when I'm playing The Witcher, I don't hear the soundtrack and then I play the game. I feel like the soundtrack is the game, that it's the world. Like, that if I walked outside, like, I can't differentiate it being music and it just being the regular ambience of the game, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's something that's really hard for a lot of games to do, is to make the music just sound so damn good that it belongs there. Like, it doesn't even sound like music anymore. It just sounds like the everyday sounds that you just hear walking out. For example, bard music or so forth, or the epic sort of crescendos of voices while you're in combat. Everything just sounds glorious and like perfection. There wasn't a single complaint I had when it came to sound. Now, one of the biggest accolades I will always give CD Projekt Red, and also Witcher 3, is there's free DLC for this game. That's right, they did not charge for any DLC for this game. They have an expansion that's coming out, which, mind you, is not coming out for probably another good 3 months, how DLC and expansion packs should be, unlike other games, which I've talked about in the past. But Witcher 3 does the DLC practice perfectly, and how gamers have been asking for it for years now, that all these other companies don't get it. They have been releasing free DLC content every week. That means even if you're taking a break from Witcher, you can hop back in, download the DLC, and have more shit to do. It truly feels like a living world now, because CD Projekt is constantly throwing more content at you, more quests, alternate costumes, new swords, new weapons, new armor, new horses. Shit that other games that are highly respected would even charge you for. See, it's games like Witcher 3 that prove that if you work to build the best game that you humanly can, and put DLC, microtransactions, and tacked on multiplayer to the side, people will literally throw money at you. You don't have to force them to give you money when you can just freely show that you actually give a shit about your consumer. To be completely honest with you guys, The Witcher 3 is one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had in my entire life. A masterpiece, and without a doubt one of the greatest RPGs ever made. If you are an RPG fan, it would be an absolute crime against humanity if you have not picked this game up yet. To be honest, Witcher 3 is a must-play game for any gamer to truly experience a masterfully crafted gaming experience like no other. That even with a game-breaking bug, and even with the graphical downgrade, Witcher 3 looks amazing, it plays amazing, and no, not even a enjoyable experience. It has been an honor, yes, an honor to play this game by CD Projekt Red. I've never said that before about a game, but I'm actually honored to play a game that a developer made, because it is absolutely everything I love about video games.
Not many